MetroPolitics on Jewish Week TV. I'm here in the wonderful borough of Queens with David Weprin and Mark Weprin. One is representing us in the City Council, one hopes to represent us in the State Assembly. Tell us a little bit about what the transition that's going on between you.
Well, Adam, thank you. Thank you for having us. We're very excited for City Controller this year. Opened up the local council seat. For 8 years, David's been the council member with the head of the Finance Committee, has delivered a lot of resources for our community. And I felt there was a real void there for someone who has experience in government, who could really continue to deliver for our community, since a lot of the issues, schools and seniors and quality of life issues like zoning and land use issues are ones that are fought at the city council level. I wanted to make sure there wasn't a void there. I thought I had the experience to really help be a best advocate for my community, so I had an opportunity to run for city council. I thought it would be great. My brother was going to be the new controller. I'd get to see him down here, and it was going to be an exciting year and a great opportunity to help serve my community. As you know, David didn't work out as we had hoped. These tough primaries, four-way primaries, 3 losers, 1 winner, and unfortunately that didn't work out. But David could tell you about that.
Right. As you know, Adam, I was one of the strong opponents in the city council to the mayor changing term limits without a public referendum. Not that I'm a big fan of term limits, but I thought the fact that the voters had voted twice in 2 public referendums against changing term limits, it was wrong for the city council and the mayor to change that. So I felt very strongly about that. So I really never intended to run for a 3rd term, and I had decided to run for controller to continue my service. The fact that I chaired the Finance Committee for 8 years, was involved in balancing 8 budgets on time, fiscally responsible budgets, I thought I would be very qualified to be controller. Obviously that didn't work out. But everywhere I go, people tell me they voted for me. I haven't yet found anybody that hasn't voted for me. So I'm thinking of demanding a recount. But in any case, the opportunity arose. People said to me, well, you should continue in public service. And when Mark got elected to the city council seat that I vacated to run for controller, people said I should run for that seat. And I really hadn't planned that at all. It was not in the plan at all. I was kind of focused on controller. But then I figured it was an opportunity to me to continue to serve this area of Queens, this district, this community that I grew up in, that I live in, that Mark grew up in, that my father represented for 23 years in the State Assembly. It was an opportunity to continue in public service and to help the area.
The Weprin name, of course, is very well known. Your father was the State Assembly Speaker, your late father. What is it like living up to that legacy?
It's not easy, although if you knew my father was a very humble man. So it was never about my father, but what my father did instill in us and in my eldest brother as well is this idea that there's nothing more important than your reputation, and there's nothing more of an honor than public service. And you may not get rich, but you can get up in the morning and know you're doing something good and you're serving other people. It really came from our parents. My mother, who immigrated to this country at a young age, taught us, about working hard to be inclusive with a lot of different people, to be proud of your heritage, but to work to make other people, help them as much as possible as well. So it was what we grew up with and grew up around. And, so we've always been, very proud to be involved in public service.
Mark, switching your focus from state politics to city politics now as a city council, what kind of adjustment is that?
Well, it's a big adjustment, but a lot of the issues I worked on in Albany, whether it was education or even senior programs where we established statewide programs like NORCs, Natural Touring Retirement Communities, and even more locally NORC WOWs, which are without walls, which are communities that aren't just in one building. They're programs that we established at the state, but the actual implementation of the programs are local. And so the city council is going to have the opportunity to see how they're running, what we can do to improve them. It's almost like a huge high school city hall where everybody is in this one building. The state legislature is much more spread out. But it's a great opportunity for me, something I'm very excited about. I'm looking forward to continuing to serve the community.
How do you guys get along?
I can't stand the guy. No, we get along great. I mean,
I always liked him best.
we were 3 brothers. I said I have 2 sons at home, and it's like WWF sometimes. They're wrestling and beating each other all the time. We were a little like that on occasion, I'm sure, too, and drove my mother a little crazy, 3 boys. But I had to learn to build coalitions early, because if I was ganged up on by the 2 of them, I was doomed. But if I can get my oldest brother on my side, I sometimes had a shot against David.
What do you think the outlook is in these tough times for the city and the state? Are we going to be able to get through this?
Well, we'll get through it. I think David would agree with that. It is tough, though. I mean, I don't want to poo-poo this financial crisis. It's as bad as you can possibly be.
I think my 20 years on Wall Street, my 8 years as head of the Finance Committee, will be particularly important in Albany because of the everything is going to really be driven by budget considerations because of the tough economic climate, the budget deficits. I think we're overtaxed already, and I don't see us taxing our way out of this sort of solution. So I think we have to be creative. We're going to have to find ways to save money, and that's something I think I can bring some of that expertise to Albany at a tough time.
Any of your children considering politics, keeping the Weprin name on the ballots in the future for the next generation?
Not mine. I don't know about yours. Mine are still a little young. They ain't looking that far ahead. You know,
I've got 5 kids up to 27, but the 18-year-old twins are both studying in Israel this year. They're learning in yeshiva. My son Max is in Reshit, which is in Beit Shemesh, and my daughter Stephanie is studying in Jerusalem at Midreshet Moriah, which is on the Sharet Tzedek Hospital campus. She's actually continuing in the public service tradition because she's working 1 day a week as part of her yeshiva program in the hospital, at Sharet Tzedek Hospital, working in the baby unit, working with infants.
Now, will they get absentee ballots to vote for you?
It's interesting. They just turned 18, so we actually just got them registered, and we're trying to negotiate the overseas absentee ballots. I'm hoping it'll be done in time, but we're not 100% sure.
David Weprin, candidate for New York State Assembly, former Assemblyman, current City Councilman Mark Weprin, thank you very much for being with us, and good luck.
Thank you, Adam.